Jell-O poke cake. Today we're going to be making a legendary chocolate cake and it's called the Tunnel of Fudge.
We're making a socket to me cake. Y'all read the title to this video.
What made the 1970s a golden age for desserts, where every family gathering boasted cakes that left a lasting impression? These iconic recipes became legends, from decadent, multi-layered confections to simple sweet treats. Why do they continue to captivate our taste buds and memories decades later? Join us as we explore 20 famous cake recipes from the 1970s we want back.
I'm getting ready to make one of my favorite cakes. It's the Watergate cake. It's from 1975.
Watergate cake is a nostalgic dessert that evokes family gatherings and potluck dinners from the 1970s. This delightful cake, made with white cake mix and instant pistachio pudding, has a unique blend of flavors. The chopped pecans add a satisfying crunch, while the lemon-lime soda brings a subtle brightness that sets it apart from other cakes. Traditionally, the frosting is a light and fluffy mix of whipped topping and pistachio pudding, perfectly complementing the cake's rich, nutty base. The origins of Watergate cake's name are mysterious, but some believe it's connected to the infamous Watergate scandal of the 1970s, with the frosting covering up a cake filled with nuts. Others think it's linked to the similarly named Watergate salad, which shares some of the same ingredients. Regardless of its origins, Watergate cake remains a beloved retro treat, bringing a touch of whimsy and nostalgia to any table.
We're making a socket to me cake. Y'all read the title to this video. It will be homemade, so let's get right into it.
Sock-it-to-me cake was a staple in kitchens across America, adding a special touch to family gatherings and celebrations. This rich and buttery bundt cake featured a surprise layer of cinnamon sugar streusel tucked inside. We would mix a yellow cake batter with sour cream and vanilla, ensuring every bite was soft and flavorful. After pouring most of the batter into the pan, we'd sprinkle a mixture of cinnamon, brown sugar, and nuts, creating that perfect swirl of sweetness. Once out of the oven, the aroma filled the kitchen with memories of simpler times. A final glaze drizzled delicately on top completed the look, with the glaze slowly dripping down the sides. Sock-it-to-me cake wasn't just a dessert, but a beloved part of family traditions, bringing comfort and joy to every occasion. Even today, it evokes memories of the warmth and togetherness we felt when sharing a slice with loved ones.
Today we're going to be making a legendary chocolate cake and it's called the Tunnel of Fudge.
The Tunnel of Fudge dessert, crafted by Houston's Ella Rita Helfrich, took the Pillsbury Bake-Off contest by storm in 1966. One slice, and you'd discover its secret, a perfectly baked cake encasing a rich molten chocolate center. The magic lay in Pillsbury's fudge icing mix, which Ella ingeniously used to create that gooey middle. This cake didn't just win accolades, it ignited a baking craze. Suddenly, bundt pans, a niche item, were flying off the shelves. Nordic Ware, the Minnesota company that made them, saw demand skyrocket, producing up to 30,000 pans daily. Even though Pillsbury discontinued the icing mix, they released a recipe to keep the Tunnel of Fudge legacy alive. Today, this cake remains an iconic treat, a reminder of when a simple bake-off entry became an enduring piece of American culinary history. Now, who could forget the delicious nostalgia of a hummingbird cake?
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making a tropical, delicious hummingbird cake. So let's get started.
Hummingbird cake, a southern staple with roots in Jamaica, first fluttered into kitchens across the U.S. after appearing in a 1978 issue of Southern Living. Since then, it's become a beloved tradition, especially around Easter or when you have a few overripe bananas. This flavorful masterpiece combines the best of spring's ingredients: sweet bananas, tangy crushed pineapple, and crunchy pecans. With a warm hint of cinnamon and a touch of vanilla, each bite brings a comforting blend of tropical sweetness and southern charm. And let's not forget the crowning glory, a rich, silky layer of cream cheese frosting that perfectly complements the cake's moist texture. It's no wonder this cake has become a household favorite, especially in the South. Whether for family gatherings or special celebrations, a hummingbird cake never fails to impress, both in taste and presentation. It's a timeless treat that's sure to steal the show.
We're going back to the 80s with a Jell-O poke cake. Let's just get cooking.
Jell-O poke cake was an iconic dessert in the 1970s, known for its vibrant colors and refreshing taste. The process began with a simple yellow cake baked to perfection in a 9x13 pan, filling kitchens with the familiar scent of a classic treat. Once cooled, holes were poked across the cake's surface using the handle of a wooden spoon. Hot strawberry jello was poured over the cake, allowing the bright red liquid to seep into the holes, creating a stunning tie-dye pattern. After a few hours in the fridge, the cake was topped with a generous layer of whipped cream, adding a light and creamy finish. This dessert was visually appealing and delicious, with each slice revealing the colorful swirls within the soft, spongy cake. It became a staple at summer gatherings, bringing a playful twist to the traditional sheet cake and leaving a lasting impression on those who enjoyed it. Now let's talk about a classic dessert that has graced tables for generations.
Hey guys, how you doing? Dave from Cookin' Chair here. Today we're doing up a sweet classic dessert, pineapple upside down cake. It's one of the simplest you're gonna find.
The pineapple upside down cake is a staple in many homes and is known for its simplicity and delightful presentation. It begins with a mixture of brown sugar and melted butter poured into the base of a cake pan. Pineapple rings, often paired with bright red maraschino cherries, are arranged neatly on top. As the cake bakes, the sugary mixture caramelizes, creating a rich and sweet topping. Once baked, the cake is carefully flipped, revealing a beautifully caramelized layer of pineapples and cherries resting on a soft golden cake. Its simplicity and rich flavor made it popular for gatherings and family dinners. The pineapple upside down cake is more than just a dessert. It's a timeless symbol of comfort and tradition, cherished for its sweet nostalgic flavors and ease of preparation.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
goodness!
Look at that.
Oh, that is great!
For good reason, the Harvey Wallbanger cake, a quirky tribute to the 1970s, earned its cheat cake nickname. It started with a box of yellow cake mix and instant vanilla pudding. Shortcuts that made baking quick yet indulgent. But what set this cake apart was its playful twist. A blend of freshly squeezed orange juice, vodka, and the distinctive Galliano liqueur transformed the batter into something straight out of a retro cocktail hour. Once mixed with 4 room-temperature eggs, the batter turned bright and sunny. Baked to perfection in a greased and floured bundt pan, it emerged from the oven with a tantalizing aroma reminiscent of the Harvey Wallbanger cocktail. After cooling, the cake was finished with a decadent glaze, which combined powdered sugar, more orange juice, and another splash of Galliano and vodka. The glaze trickled down the cake's golden curves, creating a visually striking dessert that tasted as bold as its boozy origins. This cake was a nostalgic throwback, capturing the carefree, party-loving spirit of the era.
Today we're going to try to make a midnight cake. Here are the ingredients.
Black Midnight Cake recalls rich, indulgent chocolate cakes from the past. This timeless recipe was a staple in American kitchens, shared at family gatherings, and treasured for its simplicity. It required no fancy mixers or high-tech gadgets, just a bowl, a spoon, and a love for chocolate. The recipe called for basic ingredients like butter, sugar, eggs, and cocoa powder, but it left a lot to the baker's intuition. You'd mix and blend, adjusting cocoa for richness and water for texture until you achieve that perfect creamy consistency. It was a thick batter that baked into a dense, moist cake, filling the house with an irresistible aroma. Once the cakes were out of the oven, you'd let them cool before tackling the frosting, an equally flexible process. It was a creative endeavor, with vague instructions encouraging bakers to experiment and make it their own. Despite the mystery, the result was always the same, a crowd-pleasing dessert that never failed to satisfy. We're moving now to a cake that's better than anything else.
This better than sex cake is rich chocolate cake with caramel, toffee, and whipped topping. Need I say more?
Better than sex cake, also known as better than anything cake, was a standout dessert at every family gathering and potluck. This indulgent chocolate poke cake combines layers of moist chocolate cake with a luscious blend of sweetened condensed milk and caramel sauce, transforming it into a rich and irresistible dessert. The cake was topped with a generous layer of whipped topping and sprinkled with crunchy toffee bits, creating a delightful mix of creamy and crispy textures. Its decadent taste made it a favorite at holidays and parties, often leading to multiple servings. BTS cake wasn't just a treat, but a memorable part of any celebration. Its sweet and satisfying flavors make every occasion a bit more special. It's a nostalgic reminder of how simple yet extraordinary desserts could make family gatherings and get-togethers unforgettable.
Today we're baking a recipe from 1976 titled A Cold Oven Cake.
Ah, the beloved cold oven pound cake, an old-fashioned delight that brings back the charm of simpler times. This classic recipe starts with 3 sticks of room temperature butter and 2.5 cups of granulated sugar, creamed together until light and fluffy. Next, sift 3.5 cups of cake flour with a touch of baking powder and a pinch of nutmeg, blending seamlessly into the batter. The magic unfolds with 6 room temperature eggs, added one at a time to ensure a smooth texture. A splash of vanilla and cake batter extracts, reminiscent of yesteryears, adds a delightful depth of flavor. Alternating between 1 cup of buttermilk and the sifted dry ingredients, each addition is gently incorporated while scraping down the bowl to avoid overmixing. Prepare your pan with a classic shortening and flour method, then bake in a cold oven at 325 degrees. In about an hour and 20 minutes, you'll have a golden and moist pound cake, just like the one Grandma used to make. This timeless recipe not only fills the kitchen with nostalgia, but also with the irresistible aroma of home.
I'll be showing you how to make a homemade chocolate Texas sheet cake.
Texas sheet cake is a beloved classic that brings back memories of community gatherings and celebrations. Known for its generous size, it's a rich and moist chocolate cake with a special place on dessert tables across America. The cake is light yet indulgent, with a smooth, velvety frosting poured over it while it's still warm, allowing it to seep into every bite. Unlike dense brownies, Texas sheet cake offers a soft, tender crumb that complements its deep chocolate flavor. The recipe is surprisingly simple, making it a go-to for beginner and experienced bakers. Basic pantry staples like flour, sugar, eggs, and buttermilk can be whipped up quickly and baked to perfection. Once out of the oven, the warm frosting glistens as it settles into the cake, creating a luscious texture that's hard to resist. Texas sheet cake continues to be a crowd pleaser, offering timeless comfort and sweetness in every bite. Back in the day during the Great Depression, when times were tough, creative cooks found a way to make something sweet out of almost nothing. Let's talk about it.
Today we're making wacky cake. And what makes wacky cake so wacky is that there aren't any eggs or butter in the recipe.
Wacky cake was a game changer. A rich, moist chocolate cake that didn't need milk, butter, or eggs, all of which were hard to come by. It was almost magical how it turns simple pantry staples like flour, sugar, cocoa powder, and vinegar into something delicious. This cake became a staple in many households because it was quick to whip up, just 10 minutes of prep and then 30 minutes in the oven. The kitchen would fill with that comforting chocolate smell, reminding us that a little treat could bring great joy even in hard times. Top it off with your favorite frosting, and wacky cake was the perfect homemade dessert. It wasn't just a cake, but a reminder of resourcefulness and sweet moments shared with family.
Tomato soup in a cake? Yes. Today I'm going to show you a mystery cake recipe.
Tomato soup cake, a surprising yet delightful dessert, was a staple in mid-century American kitchens. This sweet spice cake quickly became a beloved treat despite the unusual main ingredient. The recipe called for cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, which blended perfectly with the tomato soup to create a moist, tender cake full of warm flavors. The true magic of tomato soup cake lay in its unexpected twist. Guests would often be left guessing about the secret ingredient, never suspecting that a can of soup could transform into such a delicious dessert. For those who wanted to take the cake to the next level, a generous layer of cream cheese frosting was often spread across the top once it had cooled. The frosting added a rich sweetness that balanced the spices and made each bite a delightful experience. Though unconventional, this cake was a favorite, representing the creativity and resourcefulness of home bakers in decades past.
One of my most requested recipes ever, a good old-fashioned 7-Up pound cake.
In the 1970s and 80s, a delightful treat captured the hearts of many, the 7-Up cake. This retro classic epitomizes simplicity and flavor, bringing a touch of nostalgia to every bite. Made with everyday ingredients, this cake featured a unique twist, 7-Up soda. To create this cake, blend softened butter, sugar, and a bit of shortening until creaming. Add the room temperature eggs one at a time, beating well after each addition. The magic happens when you incorporate a splash of pure vanilla, lemon extract, and some zesty lime and lemon peel. Mix in sifted flour and salt, then fold in heavy cream for a fluffy batter. The secret ingredient, 7-Up, gives the cake a light lemon-lime flavor and a moist, airy texture. Bake this batter in a greased bundt pan at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour and 10 minutes. Once cooled, a simple glaze of powdered sugar and 7-Up adds a final sweet touch. The result? A golden brown cake with a crisp exterior and a moist, fluffy interior. A true taste of vintage charm. Pink champagne cake was the quintessential centerpiece for any special occasion. Its light, fluffy texture and subtle champagne flavor transformed every event into a celebration. The cake's vanilla base, infused with pink champagne, provided a unique twist that delighted the palate and made it a standout choice for birthdays, anniversaries, or holidays. Topped with a classic vanilla buttercream and a luxurious brown sugar easy buttercream, the cake offered a perfect balance of sweetness and richness. The elegant sugar bubbles and the gravity-defying champagne bottle decoration added a playful, eye-catching touch, making it the focal point of any party. Pink champagne cake wasn't just a dessert, it was a festive experience in itself. Its ability to elevate any gathering into a memorable occasion remains a cherished part of many celebrations, capturing the joy and elegance of times gone by. Up next is a recipe that's over 100 years old. The Coca-Cola cake, a recipe passed down through generations, is a beloved classic with roots dating back over a century. It first appeared in ladies' magazines and quickly became a cherished dessert across America. This cake is a rich chocolatey delight, made even more unique with real Coca-Cola in the batter. The combination of fizzy soda and decadent chocolate creates a flavor unlike any other, making each bite moist, dense, and utterly delicious. The secret lies in the Coca-Cola, which adds a touch of sweetness and enhances the chocolate flavor. Topped with a smooth chocolate buttercream frosting, this cake has been a staple at family gatherings and celebrations for decades. But one thing remains certain: you've got to use the original Coca-Cola. The real deal is what gives this cake its distinct nostalgic flavor, ensuring it remains a favorite dessert for generations to come, just as it was when it first appeared over 100 years ago.
Guys, okay, so we're doing a mayonnaise cake. That's right, we're making a cake with some mayo.
Who would have thought that mayonnaise could make for such a delicious cake? Back in the 1950s, this unexpected ingredient found its way into many kitchens, and let me tell you, it became a classic for a reason. We've been baking the vintage mayonnaise cake for generations, and it always impresses. While adding a cup of mayo may sound odd, mayo is just eggs and oil, two essential cake ingredients anyway. This cake bakes perfectly in a 9 by 13 inch dish, making it a great choice for family gatherings, potlucks, or a cozy home treat. Although the recipe may have changed a little over the years, it's still just as moist and flavorful as ever. If you haven't tried it, it's time to bring back this old favorite into your kitchen. Trust us, you won't regret it. This cake is as easy to make as it is to devour.
What's my favorite cake, you may ask? It is chocolate butter brickle cake. Chocolate butter brickle cake.
Butter brickle cake was a cherished dessert for many of us in the 70s and 80s, bringing warmth to birthdays and gatherings. This sweet delight was an easy favorite, made with a doctored box of yellow cake mix. The batter, infused with butterscotch pudding mix and crunchy toffee bits, came together in just minutes, filling kitchens with a smell of buttery goodness. Baked in 2 9-inch pans, the cake emerged after 30 minutes, golden and rich with flavor. The whipped cream frosting made it even more special, light and airy, yet piled high with extra toffee bits that gave it a satisfying crunch. Each bite was a blend of smooth sweetness and irresistible texture. Butter brickle cake was more than just a dessert. It was a piece of the past, a taste of those moments when life felt a little more carefree and every slice felt like a celebration. Cherry chip cake was a classic treat that brought warmth and joy to many family gatherings. The moist and tender cake was loaded with a sweet flavor of maraschino cherries. It all began with a simple boxed white cake mix, but adding maraschino cherry juice and pieces of cherries transformed it into something truly special. After the cake was baked to perfection, a maraschino cherry flavored whipped topping was spread over its surface. adding a light and airy sweetness to complement the rich cake beneath. The final touch was a handful of vibrant maraschino cherries placed on top, creating a visually appealing and irresistible dessert. This easy yet delicious cake was loved for its simplicity and delightful flavors. The cherry chip cake became a nostalgic favorite, reminding everyone of those times when the focus was on good company, good food, and indulging in a slice of something sweet that felt like a small celebration.
Today we're going to make a very simple ambrosia cake dessert, which leaves you very minimal time in the kitchen.
Ambrosia cake brings back warm memories of family gatherings and holiday feasts. This nostalgic dessert, with its layers of fluffy mandarin oranges and crushed pineapples, took the flavors of the classic ambrosia fruit salad and transformed them into a cake that was always the star of the dessert table. The airy yellow cake, paired with a sweet tart fruit, created a delightful combination that was refreshing and indulgent. Topped with creamy vanilla frosting, every bite celebrated simple yet irresistible flavors. Best of all, it was easy to make, a basic cake mix elevated by the magic of tangy fruit and creamy frosting. Ambrosia cake wasn't just a dessert, it was a cherished tradition, a slice of happiness served on special occasions. Even today, its nostalgic charm will surely bring a smile to anyone who remembers its sweet taste.